Hi friends, it's Jenny and I have a pile of bundles on my mat because I got my Beadbox Bargains Valentine mini bundle order. And if you haven't seen it yet, Becky also got hers and she did an unboxing of her gemstone bundle. We got two different gemstones for the Valentine gemstone bundles, and as well as this one, which was like the cat's meow. It wasn't Valentine's Day, but it was similar time frame, and it was still available when the bundles came up. So I went ahead and snagged it, as well as this one, which is the Fuchsia Floral mini bundle. So she did this one. She also did the dark iridescence, which, guys, I don't know why I didn't get it. It was in my cart, and then I needed to lower my total dollar amount that I was spending, and why I grabbed that one and tossed out of my cart, I don't know, but I didn't get it. But Becky made something beautiful with it at the end of her video. If you haven't seen it, there is going to be a link to that in the description. And I too am going to show you what I got, put it in some organizers, and make a design tonight using one of these bundles. The bundle I'm not going to be using is my Amazonite Valentine Day gemstone bundle, which is like Becky's, except it has Amazonite instead. I'm going to go ahead and move these off to the side. Becky and I are going to be designing with these on our next Friday. The late night beading that we do, it's at 10:30 p.m. Central Time here on our channel. If you're not subscribed and you want to come hang out, go ahead and hit subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you know when we're getting ready to be live. This Friday, as long as everything goes well, I will actually be at Becky's house to do this. So I am going back to Becky's because I forgot my planner at her house. So it was like she could send it, or I can go and have more sister time. And we opted for more sister time. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Now, none of these bundles have detailed listings. They did when we bought them, but I didn't print them out. I didn't save that anywhere. And so this is just a list of all the bundles that I got. Thank you, Kathy, for packing my order. I often get Kathy's, a lot of other people too, but thank you. And I did want to point out here on this thing, these are the prices as listed on the website, which were already like great deals anyway, but I did use my 30% subscriber coupon code. And guys, I saved more on this order than the cost of a subscription. So if you're not subscribed to Bargain Bead Box and you like to shop for beads, I highly recommend you check out the link that will be in our description. If you use our link to subscribe to Bargain Bead Box, it does help me get my next box. But also you will be eligible on the first box that you receive. You'll start getting your 30% reusable coupon code that is valid for 2 months. So if there's delays in shipping, you're never without one. And you can use that for most items at the sister store, Beadbox Bargains. So anyway, let's do this thing. I chose the Amazonite. And guys, these bundles sold out really fast. I know Becky talked about that when she did her video, because I did just watch it. But the Amazonite was the first to go. And so I'm really glad. At first I was going to get multiple of them. I was going to get the Amazonite and the amethyst, possibly the lapis. But when I saw that they also dropped the mini bundles, I scaled myself back to just one, because also there was a really limited amount of each colorway. There was less than 100 of each. And so I wanted to make sure I wasn't being greedy. So I personally chose to only get one of the gemstone bundles, but I got the Amazonite, and I am really happy that I did. Now, Becky and I just did nickel testing. We did some planning this afternoon, and she did some testing, and none of the metals in any of these bundles came back with a positive nickel result, which means that as far as we can tell, and we did check on items that were plated, we tried to get down to the base material. As far as we can tell, everything is Jenny safe. So for some reason, my camera is picking this up as bluer than it is. It is a little bit more green, but it is so beautiful, and you can see the detail in there. The beautiful Amazonite coloration. So I'm going to put this in here. We're going to do our Amazonite here along the bottom. Like Becky, I am going to be putting multiple bundles putting them in our boxes just because it's easier for us to look at and get inspired. I'm going to be putting my Amazonite in this one. And I have some other bundles that I'm also going to. I have another box. Becky ended up using 2 boxes as well once she unboxed the ones I'm showing you tonight, because she got them too. She put them in her thing. So some of this I will add in later to existing bundles, but I wanted to start with these. So let's look at all of the gemstones. These are some 6mm Amazonite rounds. Again, they're showing just a touch more blue than they actually are. They are a really soft bluey green, and I love them a lot. Let me see if I can angle the lights a little bit differently. We'll get a little bit more glare, but maybe a little bit more light actually on them. But those are really pretty, and I'm going to go ahead and get them off the strand. This one was just loosely tied at the end, so I can just pull it off here. Okay, and then we have some 4mm faceted rounds in the, again, in the Amazonite. I love Amazonite, guys. I'm really happy that I got this one. And Amazonite is not prone to being influenced by the color of the thread inside, but this is on a blue thread. I'm going to go ahead and snip it open anyways to put in my container. So you can see it just by itself on my dish. Look at how pretty that is. Very nicely faceted with a lot of really pretty variation. Some really deep saturation in color like these guys. And again, for some reason it's showing a little bit darker. These are a very lovely light green Amazonite. It's just one of those colors that is difficult to show well on a camera. So hopefully in editing it I can correct it to the right tone, but if not, then you have my words assuring you these are a little bit lighter. All right, okay. And then we have these beautiful little Amazonite hearts. I'm gonna leave them on their strand and put them in with the 4mm. There's just a small section of them. These sweet little hearts. I love, 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 love the color on that one. They're so pretty. Look at how dreamy this one is. Giving you a little bit closer view of those stones. So pretty. So we've got our hearts in there with our 4mm. We also have these that are little dangle dudes. Again, these are very lightly faceted, wrapped in gold colored brass. And then we have this toggle clasp, this swoopy heart-shaped toggle clasp. And it just has the bar that also has a little heart on it. Oops, there it is. There's the bar. Has a little heart on it. It's attached to that there. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here with the pendant and the little dangles. Some more little heart love. And then we've got some chain and some other metal components. This is a soldered chain, so when you use it, you'll need to cut the links. When you're cutting the length that you need, you're just going to be cutting and discarding the links that create that space. So I think that's what she'd said, that they were soldered links. Yeah, they look like it. But really pretty, delicate heart chain, a really pretty gold chain. I don't have a whole lot of gold chain that I can use. And I was happy that when we tested it, we found out that this is chain that I can use. So that makes me happy. It's so pretty. So, so pretty. Showed it against my hands. It was a little easier to see the hearts, but there it is on my dish. Very nice light gold. And then these two bags, I'm not going to spill open in here. I'm going to fold them up inside my container. One of them is these really tiny gold bead caps that I really like. These are very similar to ones that were in either the companion bundle or the subscription box from August. I don't remember which. But these ones, when Lauren showed them, these are from August. And they were requested, and she did say that there would be more of these outside of the bundles. I'm not sure when they got put up, if you've been able to snag some or not, but I remember I really liked these. And so I was really happy that they were in this bundle and that she'd confirmed they were the same ones, because we had tested those and I could use them. So I'm gonna try to get this in here where we can see the spacer beads, and also try to contain these caps. It's just a small bag of them, but because they're so light, they're trying to pop up everywhere. So this I'll probably need to adjust before I close it. But this bottom row was the gemstone bundle that I got in the Amazonite. And I think it is so pretty. Look at how beautiful all that is. That's going to be really fun to play with on Friday, like I said. So the other bundles that I'm opening tonight, let's go ahead and I'm going to do these two in this container because they're similar tones. They're cool tones. This is the Earthy at Heart bundle right here. Get my string out of the way. Earthy at Heart bundle, and this one had no metal, so we didn't even have to test anything. It also has, I believe this is Amazonite, this teardrop pendant, and it's so pretty, and I love it. Just a really soft, super soft color on that. Okay. So I'm gonna have this in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it with these other focals here because it fits and it's the same kind of stone. I'm also going to go ahead and put the blue toned items here, and then over here we have these glass, I think they're rondelles, but they're a smooth rondelle. So they're like smoothed and rounded. And there are actually quite a lot of those. I like this color. I think it's really pretty. Again, my camera is showing it slightly more blue than it is. Think of this as a little bit more sea green kind of color. Snippers out because I'm definitely going to not be able to fold this up in my container. But this is a very long strand. It may need 2 sections. We'll see. If so, I know which items I can roommate from the rest of this bundle. Oh, it's so pretty. I love this color. I think it's gonna fit. It is gonna fit. I can see blending some of this with this when I make with it. I haven't quite decided. I have some ideas. I think I know which bundle I'm going to make with tonight, but I haven't quite decided. But I do want to go ahead and get these really pretty hearts out. We have these ones that are like a turquoise and white kind of swirl. So they've got some depth to them. They're kind of milky in the middle. So we have those, and then we have these ones which are matte, and they're like white and kind of stripy. Look at how cool these are. These are check glass beads. I was going to show you, I forgot about it, but these were the rondelles. That was the number. And don't know what happened to the pendant one. And I don't remember which is which. 7520 is going to either get you these ones or the turquoise ones, and 7806 is going to get you the other ones. Those are the colors, if those are still available. And then we've got these guys, 6677. And these are some druts. They're all speckly looking, very earthy. This is where we're getting into the earthy at heart part. I like that the earthiness was balanced with some really bright, like aquatic colors. I really liked that. And this is probably why. This is Hubei turquoise, and it's a 7748. These are microfaceted rondelles. Hubei, I think is how it's pronounced. But it is an African turquoise, I believe. And there are a few beads of different types that are on here. Like here's a malachite that worked its way in the strand. But most of this is that variation of the turquoise with heavy matrix, some kind of green toned going into like some that are more blue, like this one. And those are really pretty. I did see, like I said, I saw this little malachite on here, and there might be a lapis there or a sodalite. There's some blue ones, but look at some of these. I mean, just look at that. It's so pretty. And then this one next to it. And then you have the really bright. This has a lot of really cool earthy variations, and this is exactly why it's paired with those cool aquatic colors, and that makes me happy. This is a long strand, and it does fit on its strand, so I'll probably keep this on its strand for now because it doesn't need to roommate with anything. So this is my Amazonite gemstone bundle. This is the Earthy at Heart mini bundle, and then let's go ahead and do the Blue Moon Amazonite bundle. Once in a Blue Moon. So these are ones so far that I've showed you. Like Becky showed you her strawberry quartz, but then she did get this one but didn't show it to you, and she also got this one and didn't show it to you. She left them for me to show. So I'm going to, and we've got some really fun things going on in here, including a big like moon pendant, and we're going to definitely need to make some room. I'm actually wondering, I'm going to leave this space at the top because I think that this is actually going to fit better with my other bundle I have yet to open in this box, that they're going to share some space. Yeah, because this is going to take up more than one row, and that's how much I have left there. And I can roommate some stuff, but I do kind of want to keep the bundles themselves while I'm combining them in the boxes. I don't want to like have beads from one roommate with beads from another, if that makes sense. So I could move some things around. I know I could, but that's okay. I think this is good. So this is the Moon Finding, and it is, oops, very snugly in here. It's a little bit weathered looking. You can see that, a little bit weathered looking. And it has a hole at the top and then 3 holes at the bottom. So it would suspend from here and then have these 3 dangles. So this is probably a moon, depending on what you're weighing it down with, that would sit at an angle like this. If you're looking for a straight up and down moon, honestly, most of the times when we look in the sky, it's more like this anyway. So it's fine. But this is one that we tested, and I'll just end up laying it across the top because it doesn't fit inside one of the places. But we do have some cool items. I'm going to go ahead and start with my blue stuff. We have this glass 1693. And this is very much like what we just saw in the Earthy at Heart mini bundle. It's just a different color. This one is more of a periwinkle blue. Again, it's looking a little bit brighter on the screen than it actually is. This is more of a very soft, very light sky blue. It's probably listed as light sapphire, if I were to guess. And I'm going to start across the top on this one. Like I said, I have a couple of bundles that Beki opened, so I'm not going to be opening them on screen. And so I am saving space for those in some of these boxes. This is really, really lovely periwinkle blue. There we go. And then we have this strand of, this looks to me like it is sodalite. Might be lapis. I think it is actually lapis. 7746. Actually, hang on just a second and I'll find out. All right, I'm going to show you a little trick that we use for looking up items that may or may not still be in stock. So this is the item number. And here in a Google search, as far as Beki and I know, that's the only one that works this way. You can type in bead box bargains with spaces, just the name of the store, and then in quotes, so there we are opening a quote, we type in gems dash 7746 and then close that quote. So this is what we're searching for right here. And the first result, it is lapis lazuli. The first result is going to be the listing on Beadbox Bargains. Oh, look, they are in stock. So I could have just looked up the number itself on Beadbox Bargains, but I wasn't sure if they would. But if you want these, they are actually still available. So you can see them on the list. But it is 3mm, 15-inch strand, and they are faceted round beads. So that is the listing. So that's our trick of how we look up. Now, even if it wasn't still available, it would still pull up the old listing. It would just say out of stock instead of showing an in-stock quantity like we just saw. Now, this thread is altogether too long. And I'm gonna snip it because I think I'm gonna keep these guys on their strand. The blue thread, because this is an opaque stone, doesn't affect our ability to see it truly. And these are small, they are 3mm little guys. And so they're gonna be much easier for me to keep control of and use if I keep them on their strand as long as possible. They just keep slipping around, but look at how pretty they are. That gorgeous color. They're so pretty. I'm gonna put them right here next to our little rondelles. We also have some blue crystals with AB. There's the number. And like we said, some of these may still be available for you to do some shopping. I'm gonna go ahead and take them off the strand. And they're just these little bicones. Let me get a few of them on my dish, holding them up a little bit closer. This is kind of a cornflower blue. Get it up where you can see it. I'm just getting that last bead because what do we say, friends? No beads left behind. There we go. It was just tied on the end of that strand of filament. You can see how pretty these are. Again, they're more of a cornflower blue. My phone, at least my display, is showing them a little bit darker and bolder colored than they are. But you can see the sparkle from the faceting and that little bit of AB rainbow that we get. Putting those in there. And then we have this, and these look like labradorite. They might be iolite. I'm going to show you another trick. So since I was recently looking up gemstones and I'm looking them again, I can just go back to my search page, right back into my search bar, and here where I had the number before, I can just look up this number, 7322. So I just backspace and go 7322. They are iolite. I'm glad I checked. And they are also still in stock. So if you were searching on the Bargain Bead Box website, since we are right here, I'm just going to show you. If you use the search bar and you type in the shortest possible thing, in this case, I would do the 7322 without any prefix or anything like that. And what it's going to do is it's going to show me everything that is a 7322. So this is the gemstone and this is the pendant, but that way you can see the results. Okay. If you are looking for a category, like you want to look at like aventurine pendants, you would put aventurine plus pendant. Otherwise, it's going to give you everything aventurine and everything pendant. If you leave a space, it counts it as and, or counts it as or. If you put a plus instead of a space, then it will narrow the search down. So that's another little tip. Just in case you've had trouble looking things up on their website or looking things up that are no longer in stock. Although both examples that I showed you, they were in stock. These ones I'm going to take off the strand because these are semi-translucent and it does have a dark blue strand. And I want to see these iolite exactly as they are. I want to see these guys exactly as they are. I'm going to take them off onto my mat. It's a very long strand, guys. Aside from the gemstone bundles, this was the second highest value bundle. And with the iolite and the lapis lazuli, I am not at all surprised. This one has a lot in it and it's so pretty. Let's get this on my little dish and up closer where you can see. We haven't even gotten to the golden tones in this bundle. This is just the gemstones and crystals. You can see all that beautiful iolite. It's almost like a purpley gray in some cases. Like some of these are definitely more purple. Some of them are a little bit more on the bluish gray side, but they are just, this is really pretty. And I love that faceting. Look at all that sparkle on those guys. They're so, so pretty. Okay, I am going to go ahead and put in this last section over here at the top. So we're going to do the last section here, and then we're going to use the bottom part of this row, and then we'll do our other bundle here, if that makes sense. So I've got 4 things to open. These are some petal beads. Kind of a caramely color. I may have actually gotten some of these in a recent haul. If I did, I'm going to add them in. I seem to remember they were listed as like an orange ombre, but I was like, ooh, they're like caramel and toffee. So those are really pretty. They are front drilled. This is the top of the petal. Here's the bottom of the petal. And they're just an ombre. There's a mix of coloration. They're top drilled front to back. So you'll want to attach these with jump rings or use them in wire wrapping. You don't have to go too far down for that hole. Whoops. Show you one of these. There's the hole. There you go. And I've had some fun playing with petal beads in earrings, or I made a cha-cha necklace. So that can be a lot of fun. Those pretty caramely colored petal beads. And then of course we have to have some hearts because these are Valentine's mini bundles. And these ones are matte and this really soft, creamy, almost like a stripe going on. So these are similar to what we saw in the previous bundle. Let me just get one of those out so you can see the difference. This is the one with the earthy bundle. See how much darker these browns were? More contrast between the brown and the white. These are very soft and sandy. So delightful. And then these are some fire polish. Here's the number. Sorry, I didn't do that on the, I hope you saw because I've already forgotten which is which. I think these were the hearts, 7846, and these were the leaves. We looked at all the gemstones and stuff. And then these, 1150. You do need to know the prefix if you're looking it up. If you can't find it on their website and you're having to use Google. But if you're using the search on their website, I found it easier to not mess with trying to do the prefix and put it in correctly. So it's just, you know, my personal preference. These remind me of like tortoiseshell glasses. You know, they're kind of a little bit of an ambery jonquil color mixed with this dark brown. Got this kind of swirl going on. Yeah. Put those here. And then the last item, see, I put little check marks when we were doing our nickel testing. So this is find 5375. And these are so pretty. They are little wire wrapped glass links. So if you look at it, it is more domed on one side than the other. So from that perspective, there is a front and back. But these are totally clear. So this is the back of the flower petal that is pressed inside between these sections of glass. And here is the front. And look at how beautiful they are. I would absolutely use these in earrings. 100%. I would use these in earrings. So I'm going to put them here with our little hearts. And we're going to open our next bundle. Okay, guys, this is the last bundle that I'm opening tonight. And then I'm going to design on the fly. And this is actually the bundle that I think I'm going to want to design with. I haven't seen anything yet that has really changed my mind another direction. But this is, guys, it's just so sweet and romantic, and I'm feeling it. I made a pink bracelet recently from something that Beki ordered for me, and this is full of some beautiful, lovely, soft tones, and I'm so here for it. So I'm probably going to make with this. I'm still going to organize it in here so you can see what they all look like together, and I'm probably not going to be using all the beads anyway, so it's fine. Everything's fine. Let's start actually with the crystal rondelles. They're going to take up the most space, and I'm going to put them here. So I'm going to be doing my heavy beads here, and then the more decorative, you know, choosy beads below. And there's a bunch of those. This is so cute. This the Floral Bouquet. It is the most expensive of the mini bundles that we had, and it really only has, like, I think it's one gemstone, but it's got a lot of gorgeous check glass and crystal, and there's a lot that had got put into it. And also some of the check glass, especially these soft rosaline colors, are really expensive to produce. So first we're doing the crystal first because I said so. And I have this color. I don't know if I have it in this size. I do have this color of crystal. So I will probably use this liberally because I know I've got it. It's this really pretty baby pink, barely there pink, I like to say. And it is really pretty. Look at all that sparkle. I love it. I love how softly sweetly pink it is. It is very sweetly pink. Okay, we've almost got these out. And then we have some gemstones. And I don't remember what gemstones these are. I'm gonna use our handy little tool and find out because I can. Okay, so back to our search. well, actually, let's see if it's currently available on Beadbox Bargains. We'll start there. So if I was doing it this way, if I just want to look up the number and I didn't think it was already gone, this is how I would look for it. There it is, pink opal. I thought it might be pink opal, 4mm pink opal. So the pink opal is a big part of that price. Just saying, there may only be one gemstone, but it's pink opal. And these are really pretty. Let me get them off of the pink, bright, virulently pink strand. We are going to definitely show them as they are. It's like they didn't even try to match the color. They're like, what's the brightest version of this color that we can do? Because this is a lot more muted, these pink opal. Do you see them starting to come off? They're more muted, a little bit more earthy. There we go. All right, so that's them against the mat. Let's get some of these in my dish. Here you go. These are the pink opal. And they are so pretty. I do think that they're a little bit more pink in person than you're seeing right now. They do look a touch more muted on the display, at least what I'm seeing. But they are really, really nice, soft, luscious stone. Very softly faceted. You can see the faceting on them, but it's not like sharp faceting. And you can see the variation in that stone with the slight variation in color. And yeah, it's just super pretty. I'd gotten some other pink opal stuff in some hauls. I might have to find that and see if some of them will go with this. Okay, so there's our pink opal. We also have these pink, oops. Let's see, do I want to do this or this? There's a lot of things here. These are pretty small. These are some little matte triangles, but because they're matte and because this is like a Valentine thing, they look like hearts when they stack a certain way. They are triangle crystals, but they do look a little bit like hearts. And again, this is one of those barely there, softly pink colors. They are pretty small. Let me see if I can just pile them up here. Yes, I can. Okay, then we've got a few more bags. And so we're definitely going to be using some roommates, but like I said, I'm also probably going to make with this. So let's go with this first. These little check glass leaves, there is no number on them. There's not numbers on everything, but this one I think they probably broke a strand to make these kits. I seem to remember these on strands. This is the number for the crystal, by the way. This is the number for the pink opal. And there's the other number for the crystal. I think this is the one for the triangles. So these are the rondelles, the triangles, and the pink opal. This one has no number, but there are these white, this alabaster with a metallic green wash, and they are side to side drilled. They are slightly curved. You can see the shape of that leaf. So this is the front and that's the back, but honestly, they both look cool. In fact, I kind of like the back better with the full lines instead of just the dashes. So you can see both front and back here. And those are really pretty. I'm also thinking that metallic green is going to pull some of these colors pretty nicely. So if I wanted to pull from this other set, I could. Again, this is showing a little bit more blue than it actually is. So we'll consider that, or we just might enjoy that little touch of green that we get. We've also got these 0851, and these are kind of, I don't remember what they're called. They're a certain shape of bead that looks like a nugget. They're kind of an irregular round bead, but these are in a very, very pale rosaline. Look, I mean, they almost look clear on the camera, but they're not. They're delicately pink. Very delicately pink. And I love that shape. It looks like drops of water. Like this is drops of dew. You can see when they're piled up a little bit better that they are that pink color, but only a little bit. Again, they look more pink in person. Okay, then we have various hearts and flowers and oh, so much fun. Okay, so there's 5 of these. These are some matte trumpet bellflowers. They do look a little bit more orange than they really are. I think I did get some of these in a recent haul. They are definitely more on the pink side, but they do, when I'm holding it up right here, try to look like an orange coral. They're not. Promise. Similar color, but again, not as orange as you think they are these red and pink swirl hearts. These are 7861. Look at how pretty they are. Again, don't think they're orange because they're not. And these are drilled side to side, through the top, side to side. I'm going to put those in together. And then we've got these flowers, 7626. There's 4 of them. They are center drilled with like an alabaster and light pink crystal swirl. Super, super light pink. And then we've got some table cut flowers. I love Czech flowers. 7830. And these ones are almost like they're like a purple, like a light lilac underneath with a pink wash. And so when you table cut it, it gets that kind of bluish purple flower inside. And they are drilled through the center, top to bottom. Oh, I meant to put these all in the next one over. And then these, show you these last. These are some glass beads. I think these are some porcelain beads actually. 1785. And they have these pink kind of rosettes. So you're seeing 2 on the front and 2 on the back. These pink kind of rosettes. I think they're printed. I don't think these are hand painted, with a metallic gold stem. See that? See how that kind of glistens? More so than just the porcelain itself. I think that's actually like metallic for the stem. So then if you turn these over, you can see full flowers on both sides. So there is a front and back. If you're wanting them to face a specific way, you might need to wire wrap these, stabilize them behind the back so that they face forward, or just know that they're going to swivel in your design and look like, you know, flowers do. They don't all face directly forward and look exactly the same. So we have those. We have those. 2 front, 2 back, but they all look the same. And I really like those too. So here we have, this is why I went ahead and switched, because this looks pretty full with those 2 bundles. That was the last of the bundles I'm opening on camera. This box has some room for me to add in my other bundles that Becky already opened. So I'll fill those in here, and I might move some things around when I do. This is what Becky and I are going to be designing with on Friday. So hang on just a minute, and I am going to pull out some beads, and we are going to work up a design. And I'm back. So my back was actually hurting. So this is actually the next day, which means I have had a little bit more time, I can't help it, to think about what I was gonna do. So this is a little bit less design on the fly, but still I want to make with this bundle. In fact, I did a little bit of preparing and testing. Remember when I said these porcelain beads, if you wanted the flower to face forward, you needed to do some wrapping to stabilize it. And so I went ahead and did one. And I got another one started. I'm going to use this one as a pendant for a simple necklace, like a sweet collar length necklace, just a tiny little pendant. And then I'm going to be using these ones, and I stole these from the the Once in a Blue Moon mini bundle because they were just too cute, and I feel like they're really going to go with this. And I'm going to make some earrings with this. So I got this one started, but I'm going to show you how I did this wire wrapping, and I am fairly new at wire wrapping, so keep that in mind. But I cut about a 6-inch length of 22 gauge wire. This is gold soft flex. I think I moved those spool. There's the spool. This is the product that I used. It is a dead soft wire, so you're going to be seeing me manipulate it a lot with my hands rather than tools. That is very, very normal for me. And you're just going to put your bead on the wire, bring it down to where you've got about this much wire left. I think that's about 2.5 inches. And you're just going to fold that behind the bead. Okay, so we have our longer wire coming out the top, and our shorter wire with enough room to wrap it around a few times coming up the back. And I'm just going to fold this forward and bring this around that wire at the front. Trying to hold that wire straight. It's okay if it bends a little bit. You can just bend that back. And I'm just getting 3 wraps with this wire. I'm going to be covering these wraps later, and I am doing a little bit of a messy wrap on that when I get to it. So I'm not too worried about how they turn out, but I do have these 3 wraps at the front. I've got my flower facing front. I've got this wire going along behind. If you want to tighten up this wire, you can take your pliers and I haven't done this on the other one yet, but you can take your pliers, hold the wire a little bit and give it a little, and I may not have enough room. They're just really slick, so it feels like it's moving a lot. I'm going to do it on this one because that one I'm finished with. You can take your wires here, hold it with your pliers, and give it a little twist. And that will kind of tighten up the wire at the back so that it moves less. But that's something that you can do after if you choose to. I'm going to go ahead and snip off this wire here. And now we're at the same point as, well, almost the same point as the other one. I got it started so that I wouldn't be spending as much time because we did have unboxing 4 bundles at the beginning of this video. So we have this. This is our first step. And we've got this length of wire here hanging out. I'm just going to take my round nose pliers, hold it right down to the wraps I've already done, fold it over, and then angle my pliers so they're kind of coming in at the angle of that, and giving this swooping that forward, rotating the pliers, and swinging it back. And before I wrap this, I need to attach it to my my link, my little pressed floral link. So I'm just going to open this up. This is the front of my dangle, which means this is the front. Remember, this is more domed on one side than the other. This is the front of the flower and the back of the flower. So I want to make sure that my link is facing the same side as my rose. Get this closed back up. And then I'm going to hold this with my pliers while I wrap around. And I'm just wrapping at the top here. And I'm bringing, whoop, helps if I don't drop it. This is the tricky bit that I'm less practiced with, and that's holding. We might have to adjust the direction of that link because I think it twisted on me. Holding something with the, I'm not just holding the loop, I'm holding the link that's attached to the loop. And I'm just twisting this around, getting in these extra layers, bringing it down to the top of that porcelain bead. And I think I'm going to do one more around the front. See, it's very similar, a little bit of a messy wrap, but it fits the vibe that I was going for here. Just bringing that around to the back. See, I've got a little bit of a gap right here. I'm going to snip near that so that I can just tuck that extra bit of wire right underneath that bottom wrap. That's the idea. So that it's not pokey or scratching my skin. Different pliers. Gonna grab some different pliers to get in a little bit closer. These have a finer point. Oh yeah, that's much easier. I can manipulate this down. It doesn't want to go down, so I'm just tucking it in this way. It still isn't going to be against my skin. So, gonna give this a little twist like I did on the other one. Just tightens that up. And then I need to make sure that, oh yeah, that twisted all the way around. My front of my flower is with my, let's see. So this link is this way. This one, it needs to be just a little bit further. Okay. Because it's, I needed this link to be, I'm just making sure I'm twisting it the right way. There we go. This link needed to be facing forward from this dangle. So I've just manipulated that there. And I'm just going to round out this other link because this is soft wire that was on the link already. Just trying to round that out because I did kind of smoosh it. Oh no, I cut it. No, I didn't cut it. Oh my goodness, what a mess. Hold on. Hold on. I am fixing this, I hope. If not, I need to redo this link. I just broke the link. That is really weak wire, friends. So I just broke the link on that. Hang on, and I'm gonna rethink this. Okay, so I tried several times to rewrap this, which I can do. I just don't want to do it today while I'm trying to get this done because I'm already feeling behind this week. This is just really, really weak wire. It's probably a 26 or a 24 gauge wire. I do have some 24 gauge wire I can play with. I was trying to do this with some 22 to make sure that it was a little bit stronger. But I need to practice so that I can have it not take up as much space. I ended up with more like the chunkier wraps like I was doing here on these pendants. So I'm going to leave these out. They're going to be for some other time, not today. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish wrapping this one here, and we're going to attach all of these things to what they're needing to with like the ear wires, open links, or stringing it on a design. So this can finish getting wrapped. So this is the one that I had started before, and I'd wrapped the bottom back around, up and around, and now I'm just holding this loop the way that I want it. I actually need it to be a round loop. I'll have to adjust one of these other ones for my earring since I'm not attaching it to that link. I need it to face this direction so that it can attach to the ear wire. But I'm just taking this and finishing wrapping it around here at the top, and then it will bell out as it covers the wraps below and create more of that kind of stacked wrap look that we have on the other two, so that it will match the other earring, which will in turn look great with the bracelet or the necklace. I do have a fourth, this one actually looks really nice. I think this one, even though I turned the loop that way, I think this one might need to be my pendant just because these two have the same messy wraps. This one is just a little bit neater. So here you can see that I've got this front wire crossed over. I'm just going to shorten this loop just a little bit by rotating it around in that same direction. So I'm not deforming it. And again, with the, get this back here and tucked in. These guys. Just don't want that edge of the wire to scrape my skin. since I'm thinking this one is going to actually be my pendant one. They're the same beads. It's the same method. They use the same length of wire, 6 inches, with a little bit of scrap. Maybe by the time I'm done with this, it won't look as neat. Just be how I want you to be. Hold on. That last loop is loosened up a little bit. So I'm just going to pull this, kind of tug it, and wrangle it around. Trying not to break my bead either. This is being very stubborn. And I'm totally deformed. Okay, finally it's tucked under. Now it won't get me. Okay. And now it's worked its way back around to where that is a forward facing. I don't think it's that big of a difference anymore between this and this. We'll use these for the earrings. This one needs to rotate. Again, I'm looking at the direction of the wires, how I had them wrapped, so that when I do this to fix the direction, I'm just tightening an existing wrap. I'm not loosening something or overworking that wire. All right, and I think this is the only one I haven't tightened at the back. Just a little, grab the wire and give it a little twist, and I'll tighten right around that. So now none of those are going to move. I am leaving this one loose. I think I might do a bracelet. I did just spend a lot of time off camera working on trying, this is my attempts at wrapping that. See, I really did try, friends. This is the original one that was really thin. These were the ones that I tried. And I just wasn't satisfied with the way it looked, and I want to practice it more before I rewrap that, because it is tricky. You have to get the wire in the channels so that it holds properly and have your wraps look nice. So I will play with that at another time. Just move that scrap away, and we've got some fun beads we're going to play with. I haven't decided if I'm using these crystals yet or not. I'm kind of leaning towards these more subdued pink colors with the triangles and the pink opal. These are really fun and I enjoy them, but I don't know that I want them for this design. So I'm going to move them off to the side. We might grab them if we need them. I did want these guys though that feel like drops of dew, because we are going to be stringing in some of these leaves on the necklace. And maybe we'll use one for a dangle on the bracelet. I think that could be a cute dangle. But yeah, this is what we're gonna play with. And my sister just got me, looking for my box. Here it is. My sister just got me a bunch of fun pink beads, and I thought we might liven this up maybe with this cranberry, or that's a little bit too purple. Like this cranberry has that kind of same subdued colors as this. And I think it would look pretty. Like these darker parts of the rose would go really cute with that. So I'm going to work in some seed beads. These are ones that my sister had recently bought for me when they were on sale elsewhere. And yeah, I think I want to use those. And get some of them spilled out. I had let's see, are these the ones that are Duracoat? They are Duracoat, so they're going to keep their color nice. They'll wear nicely because they're Duracoat. Okay, let's pour out a few of these just to kind of help ground these light and frothy. Yes, just to help ground these light and frothy colors. I am going to string on, I think, fluorite to bring in some more of that green. Guys, I love fluorite. It is one of my favorite colors. And it's just this really soft green. And so you'll see little bits of the green run through these clear beads. So it'll kind of help to kind of tie in these leaves a little bit, but I think that's going to be really pretty. Yeah. That's going to be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and just start stringing on the strand. We're going to go ahead and these are the earring ones. This is the pendant. And I'll want to put a bead on either side of it. I'm thinking the opal. Let me make sure that I'm on camera. So sorry, I was a little bit below. I was looking at my beads. I wasn't paying attention to the display. I'm going to move these a little out of the way so that they're not vying for attention from my camera. We'll bring them back when we do the last look with the collections that I got. So I like 4mm beads or smaller to be right next to where I put a focal, just because they kind of hug that space a little bit. Oh, let's get some of these off the strand too, because I do want to use these triangle beads. They look like little hearts. I know they're triangles, but they look like little hearts when they're all stacked together. And so I'm probably actually going to use them in that way, where it's not just one triangle bead at a time, but like groupings of 3. So I want to get some of those off as we play with them. See how nice and softly pink they are. Let's get some of this. Do I want 3 of those or just 1? I think just 1. I think I just want a touch of these when I use them. And then maybe 1 of these. No. Get 3 of these triangle beads. Yeah. And then 1 of these. And I'll do this. This. I do need a little seed bead in between, just for the curve of that leaf. Helps to fill that space. I am choosing wire that I want to peek through and show, but that's going to just fill that space a little bit better. Yeah. I'm really happy with the choice of those cranberry seed beads. I could have gotten some gold seed beads. That would work well as well. But I want my gold touches to be very minimal here. So getting another 1 of these. I have enough leaves. I'm going to put 2 on each side. And I am facing them so that they curve out because I like the looks of this side of the leaf better than that side of the leaf. So I'm putting them on this way. I just like it better. You might prefer the other side, but I like this side better. Okay, so that's it for the green leaves. Do these little trio of triangles again. Okay. So this, like I said, this is going to be more of like a little bit of a collar length necklace. So this is going to just sweetly wrap around the neck with that pendant right at the hollow of your throat. And let's do, because we haven't used the opal for a little bit, I want to get some more opal here. Now that because I wanted these close together, so I wanted to use those things as they are. I think we might alternate with doing like 3 of the pink opal and then 3 triangles, 3 of the pink opal, and so forth. So there's some variation, but it is otherwise a fairly simple look. And we'll recreate some of this when we do a little bracelet, because I don't know why, but I'm going to. I'm going to do earrings, bracelet, and necklace. It took some figuring, but this part from this point forward is all very easy. So I am going to go ahead and string this. Yep. Really, really, I'm liking that touch of red with the cranberry, like a pinky red. It's a pinky red. All right. Definitely repeating this a few times. Not where we need to be yet, but I want to finish getting one side strung. And then I might pause the video and string the other side, since the designing portion will be finished. Like I will have already figured out where everything needs to go. And I do need to figure out how I'm going to clasp this. None of the bundles, I mean, aside from the gemstone one, which we'll be doing on Friday, none of them really came with clasps, which is fine. I'm probably going to do something fairly simple with this one as well. I'm just holding it up to my neck to see if I'm close to where I want it. I am quite close, actually. I think one more section of the triangle beads, and then I can put a stopper on this other end, and I'll pause and string the other side. And when we come back, I will show you, confirm the length, and going to show you how I will finish it. So I think this is a good place to use one of my little bead stoppers. There we go. I was holding where the bead stopper was. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot longer. No, it's not. No, this is I think going to be good. So I'm going to take the wire and I'm going to double it back and get enough to string the same amount on the other side, have room to crimp, and then in case I do need to add some length, I'm just going to add another couple of inches or so. Just in case I have misjudged. All right, I will return shortly. Okay, I have returned. I have strung both sides. I did notice that I had skipped a seed bead on my first side, so I did go back and correct that, and now both sides are just how they needed to be. Good job if any of you caught that when I was doing it. I did fix it. It was right around here. It was in between the triangles and the opals. And I have decided that I'm going to use these flower magnetic clasps that I have. They have rings, so they kind of inset, so they don't pull or disconnect very easily when you pull side to side, but they do disengage when you need it to this way. So I think I'm going to try that. I think it's going to look pretty with this and be a pretty clasp, but it does mean that this being a smaller clasp, I'm not using, for example, a jumbo lobster claw or something like that. I am going to add a few extra seed beads to each side, just to give us a little bit more room. putting, I think I'm gonna do like 5 right before the clasp. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put that on here. There was already, whoops, I added 1 extra. There was already 1 there, so I only needed to add 4. Now it's 5. All right. And then I'm going to add to the other side as well. And then we're going to crimp them. I started doing this and didn't really go over the tools as I've been using them. I've been using flush cutters, chain nose pliers, and round nose pliers to do my wire work. And I am going to be using a magical crimper to finish this off. Now, when we were doing our late night beading recently, I was very low on gold crimp tubes. And so one of our friends, Heather, very generously sent me a set of Beadalon crimp tubes. So look at how cute they are. They come in these little vials. Some of you who already have them, you know. Softflex is the one that Beki and I use most often. And a big part of that is that they are a nice thick crimp tube with no seam. The Beadalon crimp tubes are also good quality. I have not personally used one before, so I'm going to be using my Beadalon crimp tubes for the first time in this video. Just trying to open it without losing all my crimp tubes. I can see why I think Heather transfers hers into different containers, because this is a snug fit, guys. Okay. I am going to spill out enough here to do the bracelet, or the necklace and a bracelet. So I've got 4 of these crimp tubes, and I'm going to go ahead and put that cap back on. And the set did come with the gold, the silver, the gunmetal, I think they called it hematite, and copper plated. So it's gold color, silver plated, copper plated, and hematite color. So just in case you were wondering. All right, so this magical crimper, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so we can look at this more closely as I demonstrate it. It is meant to be used with 0.018 to 0.019 beading wire. The Softflex that I use is 0.019, and it only works with 2x2 crimp tubes, which the number 2 on Beadalon is a 2x2 crimp tube. That's 2mm by 2mm. So you're going to take your crimp tube, and I often show the edge of a Softflex crimp tube so you can see nice thick wall. There you go. You can see that. That's very similar. The gold one is a very similar thickness to the to what you see from the Softflex, and there's no seam. So you just do that and then feed your wire back through and then tighten that to make a little loop. So I'm going to go about this size. I'm going to be attaching my clasp with jump rings. So I don't need a huge loop, but I don't need it to be super tiny either, because I'm not worried about, like on a bracelet, making something too long. So you're just going to take your magical crimpers, and there's this concavity on both sides of the crimping pliers. It's where we're going to form this tube into a little ball. So you're going to center it in there, make sure everything is where you want it, that it's nice and centered, and give it a little squish. And what you do is it pinches down. This did not. It did. Okay, so this is part of me using new crimp tubes. There we go. I don't know if you can see, it does pinch down those 4 corners. For me, they don't look as distinct as I do on my other crimp tubes, which is fine because we're not done. You're going to take that and rotate it 90 degrees from where you just were, so it's straight up and down inside your crimping pliers like this, and give it another squish. And then open your jaws and keep rotating that and squishing from all the different sides and angles, keeping it centered until you have formed a smooth ball of crimp. You know that you're done because it stops having, you stop feeling resistance, and also you don't see, I see a little bit of it, that dark center that was the hollow of the tube. Because what we're doing is we're pressing down the edges of that tube to bite into the beading wire. So I think that's pretty good, and it feels smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and take just a little bit of wire right here. This is from the mess around I was doing earlier. I'm doing a little tug test because I haven't used these crimps before, and that is definitely holding. So I'm good. I'm satisfied with that. So I'm going to use these crimp tubes for the rest of this make. Just snipping off that excess wire, scooting the beads down, getting a little bit of curl on my necklace, and then doing the other side. I've already added those seed beads. Now there's two things I'm doing differently on this one. The first thing is I do need this right up against those beads. So I went ahead and put the tube all the way down, pulling this tail through, and yeah, I've got some excess. Getting my loop to about the same size as the other, but I'm gonna wiggle my thumbnail in between the crimp tube and that seed bead so I can make sure I have enough room to work my crimper without breaking my seed beads. So I'm going to go ahead and get this centered just like I did before. Make sure that I'm clear of those beads, but that I don't have a big gap where I have a lot of wire showing. You want some play, but not too much. And then giving it a squish. And then the other thing that I do differently is instead of pulling that out and showing you the ravioli, because I could feel that it was centered when I did that squish, I'm just going ahead and rotating it that 90 degrees. I open my jaws wide enough to do that. And then I am squishing it again. And I'm just going and going and going. And I found for me that it is easier to make sure that you stay centered if you don't remove the tube, the crimp from the tool. So you can just keep doing that until everything is nice and smooth, just like on the other side. And then snip off your excess wire without cutting your loop off, like I almost did, because my pliers, or my crimper flush cutters slipped. There we go. All right, so I've got little loops on either end of my necklace. Oh, and one note, let's go back out to normal. Okay, one note, I didn't mention it because I was stringing on the other side, but when you are stringing on one side, like I said, I chose which direction I wanted these leaves to face. When I flipped it over and strung the other side, I made sure that I put them on the back way, if that makes sense. So this is the back of my necklace, and this is the front of my necklace. All right, I am gonna go ahead and get these. So these magnetic clasps, they come with like a lobster claw and a loop attached, because people can use these even if they don't make jewelry to add a magnetic closure to existing pieces of jewelry that they own. I obviously don't need that. I'm going to use my crimpers as a second set of pliers. So I am removing the lobster claw, and I am putting the loop from my necklace on, and then just closing that jump ring right back up. These are pretty good jump rings that came attached, so I'll just use those instead of adding something new. And then just the same thing on the other side. I'm going to open up my jump ring, remove this loop. Oh, come on. My magnetic clasp likes to misbehave, has a mind of its own. All right. Okay. I should have, yeah. So I'm trying to attach this in a way so that it will naturally have the rose face up. It's okay if it doesn't. It's still pretty and smooth on the back, but I would like the rose to face up when I've got the clasp done. So I'm just making sure that the necklace itself doesn't twist that. Oh my goodness, I made a mess. I heard those seed beads go everywhere, friends. Some of them just ricocheted across the room. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. All right. So we have... Okay. I just saw that this jump ring is not quite closed all the way. Sometimes they spring back a little bit. That's okay. All right, just trying this again. So if I have it like this and like this, okay, and then like this, here we go. All right. You guys didn't know we'd be doing a long video. I'm sorry. I hope that you stuck around. I am going to go ahead and at least do the earrings. I'm going to save the... No, the bracelet's going to be easy to string up. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do it all. If you want to skip ahead to different things, you can skip ahead. I'm going to try to remember put in chapters for this so that you can jump to the necklace, to the bracelet, to the earrings. And some of you just like to hang out with us when we are doing something a little bit longer. And I hope that you did that you enjoyed seeing what was in all the little bundles and that you are interested in seeing what I make with this one. So yeah, I'm just going to get out more of my beading wire. I should have done this just to make sure. Oh yes, this necklace is lovely. Fits right around the base of my throat. Not a choker, but definitely a shorter necklace that is just so sweet and springy. So we have that done. And I am going to make a bracelet, and we're going to use a lot of these same components. Let me get out some more of the triangle beads. And I do have 2 more of these, and so I think I am going to go ahead and use one of those on the bracelet, or them on the bracelet, rather than doing a dangle. Since I'm using a magnetic clasp, I don't feel like I need a dangle. So I am going to start with the center, and I am not going to worry about this rose heart. I'm not going to worry about if it twists and turns on my wrist because it's very easy to just flip it if I want to see it the other way. So I'm not too worried about that. I want to see if the hole on this porcelain bead eats the seed beads. It does. So we're not going to put the seed beads up against it. We're going to put the opal against it because they are definitely not going to get eaten by the bead, but they are going to be nice little softens against it, fills in that little gap at the top of the heart. And then we're going to go into some of our other patterns that we enjoyed. So I am shortening this since this is the necklace and here's the bracelet. No, actually, so if I have my heart here, it'll take a little bit more space. No, I think I'm gonna put the, I don't know. Let's try it. Because I want to do this. It doesn't have to be an exact pattern. I'm going to do this a little bit differently. So I'm going to put 3 of those right here. And then we're going to use these guys to do a leaf pattern. And then 3 of these. And then let's do, that's 4. Let's do something a little bit different. What if we do an opal, a triangle, and an opal? How do those look together? Just to have something a little bit different. Okay. And then do 3 of these. Let's do 1 of these. We don't have a leaf to go between, but we do have these crystal rondelles that I hadn't used yet. Do I like that here or do I not like that here? I kind of like that there. And it's okay that I hadn't used them yet. We're just getting a little bit more of that pink that's in there back. And then we're going to do this with the opals again. Let's see, I need more. Oh, I do have more of those. So I do have more of these. I'm going to be using so far 2 of these on each side, but I have more. So I can use these and then this. Excuse the noise. That's the local school bus stopping. It's right at the corner by our house since I am filming this the next day. Let's do this again. So this is like it goes with, but it's not like a matchy pattern. So we're doing some things differently between them. So not just duplicating the same pattern. I think I need to check this. I have another mat that I had my little one out for this. I want to see what length we're at so far. That's actually about where I need to stop this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do the stopper because again, we're going to need room to crimp. We're going to need room for our clasp. And this is about half my wrist already. I think I might have to shorten this. We'll see. Let's get the other side done and then decide if I need to, again, just taking a little bit extra in case I need to make some adjustments. And then I'm going to repeat what I did here on this other side. Let me go ahead and pause that because this is long. Again, thank you friends for staying like you have. Oh, that's my tool. I'm like, what is that shadow over there? I thought part of my equipment was there. It was my crimper, guys. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I did go ahead and get the other side restrung and I checked it and it was way too long. And so I have the bracelet here. I took off the 3 seed bead trios at the end and the little opal combination that we did. Now this is much closer, room to crimp, room to attach the clasp and have this fit the way that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp this off just the same way that I did before. I'm not going to bother zooming in or explaining what I'm doing because I already showed it to you. But I am doing it on camera, so if you want to see the repetition, that can sometimes help. But I am going to go ahead and do this. If for some reason I've misjudged and my bracelet is too tight, I will just add jump rings. I have no problem doing that. So that is one reason why I make the loop and I don't attach a clasp directly to it, is because I want the flexibility of being able to adjust the fit for me or somebody else. And you can do that if you use jump rings to attach. It is less secure. I will acknowledge that it is less secure, but if you use good jump rings, then it's just fine. So that is what I'm going to be doing with this bracelet. Okay. Get this other crimp on. And my verdict is that these beadle-on crimp tubes are very similar to the soft flex that I have been using. Not quite the same, but definitely close enough, and they definitely do the job. So if you have been looking for what crimps to use, like I said, Beki and I prefer the soft flex, but these beadle-on ones are good too. And they are a little bit more budget friendly. So if that is a concern with getting higher quality crimp tubes, it's better that you get one that you know will work, that is budget friendly, versus one that will just crumble, because we have a lot of our viewers who get inexpensive crimp tubes. Even I think like the tool is a beadsmith tool, but the beadsmith crimp tubes are very thin and irregular, and so they actually don't work very well for this. So, and then some other off-brand ones, some from major like big wholesale or discount places. You just want to make sure that you've got good quality. And now that I have firsthand experience with it, I can add beadle onto that list of these are the right quality to be able to use and not just have it, you know, crumble. It will form a ball like what you're used to seeing us demonstrate. I hope that that helps. And thank you again to Heather for sending them over to me when I was worried about not having enough gold crimp tubes, because I've been using them a lot in designs lately and was running really, really low, guys. I have 4 of those left, the Soft Flex brand. So yeah, this is definitely, let's see, I want this way, okay. Just getting my bracelet where I want it. And my clasp so that the rose will face out when I wear it. And again, it might twist and I can rotate it if I need to, but if I'm using a clasp that matches the theme of the bracelet, I kind of want the clasp to show. I just have to get this other. So it should work with the way I want to wear it if I attach this one here. And then I'll try not to drop it 6 times or more like I did on the other side. Okay. All right, so then this should do what I want it to. Okay, let's get this bracelet on. And then we're just going to finish up the earrings. We already started those earlier when I showed you how I was wrapping the porcelain bead so that the rose faced forward. Oh yes, that is a perfect fit, friends. Just how I like it to fit, where it rotates smoothly, but is not going to roll off my wrist. And here's that pretty little rose magnetic clasp that I got. I'm going to try to remember. I often forget to put links to the magnetic clasps that I use. I do get most of them on Amazon. So just because I can reliably get them and they're listed as nickel free. So, but this is a perfect fit, a really sweet bracelet. And then this, guys, this is how close we are to done, because we are just taking these that we already wrapped at the beginning. If you want to go back, if you jumped ahead to the earrings, we wrapped these at the beginning of the necklace section. And I am just going to open up, get my pliers here. I'm going to open up this ear wire right here. This is the back of the earring, so I want to make sure that I have that rose facing the front. There we go. It's very simple. If you wanted to add more to that, you could, but with the short collar length necklace and just the sweet design that we created, this felt like the natural choice, especially since that link that I tried to do, I did try to make it fancier and use those pretty floral links, but that wire just did not hold up. So if you're going to use those as links, maybe use jump rings to attach, and then you don't have to worry about how whether that wire, if you're wrapping onto it, which is what happened to me, might loosen up and fall apart. But we have that, and I'm going to move these other beads out of our way and get the necklace back in here. Get one last look at the necklace, the bracelet, and the earrings that I made with this really sweet Floral Bouquet mini bundle. I think that turned out really cute. Really, really cute. So, and also I still have some beads on my mat, but I still have all of these. I still have all of this. I'm going to be adding the bundles that Becky opened on her video to these. And again, in case you missed up at the beginning of this, we did test all of the metals in all of these mini bundles, and we did not have any nickel reactions. So they're good to go. But I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you didn't mind a little bit longer video to hang out with me while I made this, because I was feeling a whole set. I really was. I think that it turned out, considering I don't do a whole lot of wire wrapping, I think this turned out pretty well. So if you liked this video, hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe. Don't forget to check the link for Beki's bundle unboxing and what she made along with it. It was a double wrap bracelet that can be worn as a necklace. And that was from the, I want to say Moody Iridescence, but it wasn't Moody. It was some other, basically right along my lines, and for whatever reason I didn't get it. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you had a great time. Like, subscribe, and as always, my friends, happy beading, and don't forget to play, even when things don't go how you plan. Thanks. Bye.